Our 6-month investigation into sexual assaults against more than a dozen current and former cadets at the Air Force Academy is prompting calls for dramatic reform. In an investigation only on CBS This Morning, the cadets told us they were retaliated against by peers and military leadership for reporting sexual assaults. New York Democratic Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is calling for Senate hearings and an investigation by the Defense Department's Inspector General after watching our reports. She talked with us yesterday.
I think there needs to be an IG investigation. There needs to be a thorough investigation of why justice was not done in this case. And that's not good enough. The performance is not good enough. They are not holding perpetrators accountable.
Emily Hazen was supposed to graduate in 2015 as a commissioned officer from the elite United States Air Force Academy.
I was sexually assaulted my freshman year, and the sexual harassment I endured eventually made me leave.
Whatever happened to that cadet?
He graduated.
And what happened to you?
I left.
There's no understanding in the commanders about sexual assault, the trauma, the effects.
I was terrified of reporting because I've heard of things that happen to people. And it did happen to me. So it's not horror stories. It's slut shaming, it's victim blaming, it's rumors.
Do you regret reporting the assault?
Oh, I regret it every day.
Teresa Beasley worked with sexual assault survivors for 3 decades. 10 of those years as the United States Air Force Academy's top official on sexual assault prevention and response.
Is the Air Force Academy supportive of those who report sexual assault?
I would have to say absolutely not. No. I think deep down they really don't believe that sexual assaults are happening. I think they're minimizing the severity of them.
The Academy's new superintendent, Lieutenant General Silveria, appeared on our broadcast to respond.
Do you think that there are problems there?
I don't think there are problems, and let me tell you why. We know that across the nation and across campuses, this is underreported. So I want reporting to go up so that I can provide that care, provide that support.
With us now is retired Colonel Don Christensen. He served as chief prosecutor for the U.S. Air Force from 2010 to 2014. He's now president of Protect Our Defenders, an organization dedicated to ending rape and sexual assault in the military. Colonel Christensen, good morning.
Good morning, Norah.
You heard the superintendent of the Air Force Academy say here he does not think the Academy has a problem.
Yeah, that was stunning. Air Force's own numbers showed that last academic year, and these numbers came out in March of this year, 11.2% of all women cadets were sexually assaulted during that academic year. 47% were sexually harassed. Yes, they have a sexual assault problem, sexual harassment problem.
What is it that the superintendent of the Air Force Academy should be doing?
He is the only person on that installation who has the authority to prosecute people. He made it sound like Teresa Beasley was the only reason there's a failure there. Teresa Beasley's job is to provide support to survivors. Her job is not to prosecute. Her job is not to stop retaliation. That is the general's job.
How did it strike you when he said that? Go ahead, Norah.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say we spoke with Senator Gillibrand yesterday, who was extremely strong on this issue, not only calling for hearings. She called what the general said pathetic. She said it was embarrassing. She said not once did he say that they received justice because they haven't. She said there's been no accountability.
And the senator is absolutely right. As the general talked about, all he talked about was support. He never once talked about holding offenders accountable. And that is a huge failure. You have to do more. Support's great, but when you have people out there being hurt, you need to make sure that somebody is holding those who hurt them accountable.
How did it strike you when he said that he would like to see the number of reporting incidents go up? Did that make sense to you?
It makes sense in a degree in that you can't address sexual assault if you don't know about it. But the reality is that when women come forward and report at the Academy, as Norah's investigation showed, they're putting their career at peril. You know, the investigation showed 11 women were forced out of the Academy last year. And so it's a career ender. And what does that do? What that does is denies this country women like Norah talked to who want to serve. Look, this is a retention issue. This is a recruiting issue. This is the ability for America to bring the fight to the enemy. We have to have women.
You heard women say in Norah's report they regret coming forward, and you said that you have some cases, but the women say to you that they have regrets about coming forward too. Why?
Well, yeah, absolutely. We have had 5 cadets come to Protect Our Defenders in the last 6 weeks asking for help. And every one of them is saying that their career at the academy is being put into jeopardy because they came forward. And what happens after they come forward, too often the commanders now start looking for any minor discrepancy to force them out of the academy.
The general suggested in this reporting issue that it was like all other colleges. How compare the academy to the problem that happens at other colleges as well?
Well, the numbers are hard to compare because you have thousands of colleges, but the difference with the Air Force Academy, it's a very isolated institution. You know, the men and women just can't leave. You know, they have to have permission to leave the campus. Their entire life revolves around that campus. And so if you're being retaliated against, whether it's social retaliation, professional retaliation, that impacts you every minute of that day.
Right. And also because if you go to an academy, a service academy, you then owe the military time afterwards to pay back for that tuition.
Absolutely. And the women who are being forced out are now being told that they're going to have to pay up to $250,000 back to the government for their education.
Were you angry at what you saw yesterday?
Very. I agree with Senator Gillibrand. His response was pathetic. He had an opportunity to come in, tell American people that I've got this and I'm going to take this seriously. He had an opportunity to tell the cadets, importantly at the academy, that sexual assault and sexual harassment and retaliation is unacceptable, and he failed to do that.
All right. Colonel Don Christensen, thank you very much for coming in today from Washington, D.C.